Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Surfboard, and Carta.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, tubular.
It's a great name, bro.
Yeah.
Gonna hang 10.
I guess. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. It's something that surfers say.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like they're hanging something. I don't know what hang 10 means. That's a good question. So, you made me watch a movie.
I did.
Yes.
Indeed, I did.
And it was called Gone to Maui. Oh,
It
boy.
was.
Yes.
It was.
It was a 1999 made-for-TV movie. I don't know what station it aired on, or, I mean, not station, but like a network or whatever. Directed by Robert C. Thomas, who has directed a lot of TV, everything from the Mark of Zorro to The Paper Chase to... He was actually a producer on the movie The Paper Chase as well. Yeah, not a lot of... these are his producer credits, I'm sorry. His director credits. Gone to Maui was his last credit. I don't know if he died or if this killed his career or what, because there's not really much information here about him.
One song was Gone to Maui.
Yes. He directed a TV movie called The Mark of Zorro. He directed a TV movie about Abbott and Costello called Bud and Lou, like a biopic of them or something. And directed he produced that. I'm sorry. He produced Bud and Lou. Oh, and he directed it. Sorry. He also directed some episodes of Dynasty, Fantasy Island, Hill Street Blues, Magnum P.I., The Greatest American Hero, which was one of my favorites as a kid. Prior to this, the last thing he directed was one episode of Silk Stockings. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's our director.
Yeah.
And then we have the writing credits are C. Michael Foster and Peter Trunk. C. Michael Foster, only thing he's ever done was this movie.
Okay.
And Peter Trunk, he acted in 2 movies, and then which includes he's a tourist in this movie, and he was played the media in the movie Volcano. That's about all he's done.
Good movie, Volcano.
And we have starring here Pat Morita, known as Mr. Miyagi and known for Happy Days and other various projects over the years, as Mr. Ono. Then we have Cesar Lopapa as Francisco. How do you say his name? Paniolo?
I think he called it, Paniolo or
Paniolo Pantanal. And then we have Lars van Saldern as Michael Mickey Sommer. We have Miriam Filali as Sharifa, Roland Kickinger as Schultz. The fact about him is he played a young Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie, I think it's called Run, Arnold Run or something, where it's about him running for governor. And but then like his younger years as well. Oh, See Arnold Run, that's what it's called. See Arnold Run. And then he also played the body double of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Terminator Salvation. They had like scenes that took place in 1984 in that movie, and they digitally imposed Arnold's face onto his body.
Interesting. I wonder if the See Arnold Run, was that also kind of a play on, because wasn't he in a movie called Running Man or something like that?
Arnold? Maybe, I don't know. It might have been something with that. Yeah,
Okay.
but he played the Arnold Schwarzenegger from 1973. There was another actor. I kind of want to find this movie. It's an hour-and-a-half movie, a look at the life of Arnold Schwarzenegger from his early days as a bodybuilder up until his successful campaign for governor of California. Yeah, there's another guy named Jürgen Prochnow had played the older Arnold. So anyways, but yeah, this guy's actually been in a lot of things, also including Shasta McNasty, the TV series, which I've heard is I think that's the one that according to Scott Adams of Dilbert fame is the worst television show that ever existed because he said it helped kill his animated Dilbert.
Wow.
Yeah. Anywho, there's a bunch of other people in here that pretty much this is the only thing they've done.
Yeah.
Like all the other actors, we have Deva Sendaroyo, I don't know, Sendaro as Sergeant Wolinski, the female cop in the movie. Matthew Quinnett as Officer Daniels, the male cop in the movie. Paul Jermaine Brown as Bernard, one of the bad guys, and Chris Rose as McRoy, the other bad guy. And then a bunch of random people, including James Kimo Apana as himself as the mayor of Maui.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, they actually got the real mayor in the movie. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So initial thoughts on this cinematic masterpiece.
I know I say this a lot, and every time I say it, it's the truth. So it's kind of hard, to trust me on this. But I honestly and genuinely think this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's a lot of movies. That's probably thousands of movies.
Yeah, I for sure will say it's up there with mine. I mean, there may be worse ones that I can't think of, but in recent memory, this is definitely the worst movie I've seen.
It's wild. Mm-hmm. It is wild. For a movie to be this bad and this consistently bad and almost like intentionally bad at times, where you can see an obvious point where a scene should be edited so it's not taking up too much time.
Yeah.
And then they get piling it on where it's like, okay, clearly this conversation's over, so let's move on to the next scene. And then it's like, oh, by the way, like, oh, yeah? Oh, okay, see you later. All right, bye. And then it's like, oh, one more thing. It's like, oh my God, like,
see, the movie's exactly an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that maybe they had to fill that exact time frame for a television time slot of some sort when it came out, because I can't find any more info on this movie.
There's no info. I'm going to write probably the very first review of this movie online. But man, this movie, I mean, I wrote a shit ton of notes on this movie.
Yeah.
I probably wrote the most notes out of any movie we've reviewed. Like, I watched the movie first, just on its own. And then the next day, I watched it just for the sake of taking notes. And I would even pause here and there if my note-taking was lagging with the scene.
Yeah.
I would literally pause. So the movie's an hour and a half. It probably took me about 3 hours in total to watch it because I had to pause and write some notes and move on to the next thing. And, I mean, so I dedicated a lot to this movie. Probably more dedication than the actual people who made the movie did. So
I'd agree. Yeah, there's only like one review I can find online, and that's a user review on the Internet Movie Database.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-star review. Spoilers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, what happens in this movie, if you want to call it a movie?
Yeah. Okay, so the movie begins with 3 or 4 characters that we never see at all for the rest of the film, and we don't know who these people are. So right there, that should set the tone for what you should expect with this movie. So it's this drug kingpin, nameless. He's wearing sunglasses and shit, I think, and he's talking about, his drug business and how great it is. And one of his employees, they're like, by the way, they're all like really hot women, and I don't know what they are to him, if they're like his henchmen or henchwomen rather, or advisors, who knows. And they're like, oh, well, are you going to really give him his half? And the guy's like, a deal is a deal. So it's like, okay, we got like an honest drug dealer here. Like, okay, guy's going to pay half the money, to his partner, even though, he might want the rest of the money for himself. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. But no, she's like, oh, well, I'll fix that or whatever. And then she calls the island police and, gives them a tip that there's going to be, I don't know, a helicopter landing in like a sugarcane field, or something like that. So basically they can go search his helicopter and like arrest him or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a weird way to start the movie, where your boss is more honest and fair dealing than you are, which is kind of weird because, you know, he's boss. But all right. And then
it doesn't make any sense to have these characters in the movie.
No, it doesn't.
And it would if they would have gone back to them in some way, like had a scene between the henchman on the island and the bad guy from the first scene on the phone to them, or something going on of some sort, or having the bad guy be arrested and sent to jail or something, or whatever at the end of the movie. But no, there's nothing.
No, and they don't even mention this guy's name. Later on, we learn that his name is McCroy, and he's one of the bad guys, but there's no mention of who this guy was. And then we get the intro and some stupid song, and maybe the song's all right, but then like
the song wanted to be a Bob Marley song so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, it's like, hey man, we're in island time, bro, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, just a dumb montage of people at the beach. For some reason they make a big deal of fat people at the beach. Like, haha, isn't that funny? There's fat people at the beach. Isn't that gross and stupid? Haha. You know, that was kind of the joke, I guess, if you want to call it a joke, just being mean-spirited about people's, you know, weight and stuff. I don't know.
It's top caliber 1999 humor.
Oh, yeah, totally. And then we get these two women are sunbathing and just checking out the guys in, you know, the water. One of them's named Sharifa. She's a main character in the movie. She's with the blonde friend. I don't know if they ever even said her name. And I'm not sure.
No, and she's only in this scene.
Right, she's her friend. And she's checking out this guy named Mickey Summers, who's a windsurfer instructor. And then this Ben Stiller lookalike named Paniolo proceeds to sexually harass the two women at the beach after, you know, trying to monologue about how surfers are better than windsurfers, which I don't know why that was a thing or whatever.
Well, that's a common known thing, you know. Didn't you know that?
Oh, really?
No,
I didn't know that. Maybe in Maui it's like a battle, like, oh, windsurfers versus surfers, bro, whatever. I don't know. And then obviously Sharifa is uninterested in this Ben Stiller lookalike's advances. He tries to, you know, I mean, obviously he's not reading the room, or he just doesn't care. And so then he tries to teach her a surf lesson, even though she has not said that she wants anything to do with that. And then he tries to apply a copious amount of suntan lotion on her. Like, his hand is completely full of suntan lotion. And then she's like, oh, no, that's all right. I got to go to work, and puts on her shorts. The whole time she's putting on her shorts, by the way, he's just staring at her ass for like a good 15 seconds as she's putting on her shorts to go to work. I'm like, okay, dude, just a little bit, you know, all right. And then as he's like staring at her as she walks away, the blonde woman says, oh, well, you know, you could put some on me. And he's like, what? Like, oh yeah, whatever. It's like, you didn't even see me interested in her. I'm like, okay, she's equally as hot as Sharifa is. I mean, I don't understand. Whatever. And then,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we also had this thing, too, where the other cliche of the 90s movie is they're like, oh, this Mickey guy must be gay because he's so hot and cool. And, you know, only the gay guys are good or whatever type of thing. You know?
Also, it was like that he wasn't interested in the blonde girl or something, so that meant he was gay.
Yeah, she's like, I've tried. She's not interested in girls. And then, for some reason, Sharifa, like, squeezes the suntan lotion bottle and all this white stuff comes out. So I don't know if that was supposed to be, like, a euphemism for ejaculation, but I'm not sure how that even makes sense in the context of what.
No, not at all.
Like, so it doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, like, that's like, I thought maybe they thought that would be a funny thing to do, but it just landed terribly, like everything in this movie does, except for the helicopter, which I think landed fine. And so there's this guy, you know, as he's putting suntan lotion on the blonde, there's this another fat guy, of course, fat guy. This guy looks like a Jack Black lookalike, but like a current Jack Black.
Yeah.
Now, not Jack Black then. So maybe they did some time travel and they figured out what Jack Black would look like in 2024. And then they went back to 1998 or 99 when this movie was made. And then they're like, oh, let's make this guy look like Jack Black. And he's drowning because he's trying to do windsurfing on his own, I guess. He can't do it, which is weird because I thought Mickey was teaching these people. I don't know. And then so Mickey goes off to save him. The blonde tells Paniolo to help, and he's acting like an idiot, doesn't even do anything at first. And then he finally goes in to, quote, help. But he acts like a complete buffoon the whole time, and he's actually hindering the process of saving this guy more so than helping him. Here's where one of the first themes that goes on way too long. So he keeps going, I got him. I don't got him. I got him. I don't got him. I got him. I don't got him. I got him. I just like, oh my God, like just stop it. Move on. Like, Jesus Christ, And like,
yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah, it's and the acting in this and everything is so bad. I don't know. It's just they're trying too hard to be funny.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's like they're just not that great. And it's no offense. I mean, come on. If I was in the movie, I probably wouldn't be that good, especially if I had like if I was like one of the main characters. I mean, but then again, I would hope that I would actually, if I actually wanted to be an actor, I would actually, be able to actually act before I got casted to. That's the other thing too. A little side tangent here. So you got to ask yourselves, these are the people that got chosen to be in this movie, right?
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, did anyone else audition for this movie? Or are these the only people? And they're just like, oh, well, we got to pick who we can. We got to fill our, our cast list here. Or were there people worse than these people who got rejected?
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. That kept me up at night. Like, not really. But...
It almost seems like the people that got cast were like friends of the director or something. It's like, don't get me wrong with that. I've done that myself. It's just weird how bad they acted. And they were all in different movies, if that makes sense. Like they all felt like they were acting in a different movie. They were all kind of still in the comedy realm, but it's like the guy playing Mickey is like yelling all of his lines.
Yeah.
Like over the top, like trying to be like Jim Carrey or something, but without the humor.
He was trying to be like the sarcastic, funny Jeff Winger type character.
Yeah.
But didn't do it very well.
Or like it didn't even matter what he was saying. Like he could be saying something nice to somebody. It'd be like, but he'd say it in the same exact tone as when he was mad at somebody.
Right. It's like, okay, like I'm getting mixed signals here, bro. But I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and Paniolo, I mean, his acting was decent. It wasn't as bad as Mickey's, but he was still in a different movie.
Yeah, and I'm almost certain they cast him because he looked like Ben Stiller in the 1990s a little bit. Because that was when he was like starting to get really big. Like when Meet the Parents came out, and they're like, oh, this guy kind of looks like Ben Stiller a little bit, maybe like a second cousin or something, so we'll have, but then again, he was acting more, he was almost acting, trying to act like Jim Carrey
a little bit too, yeah,
a bit more so than Ben Stiller, so it was kind of like a weird, I don't know. And so that was just a side tangent. But then when they get Jack Black to land, Paniolo throws a bunch of water on his face, even though he was drowning and he was full of salt water.
He got confused because somebody said something to him, and he thought they said you can fight fire with fire. So he took that to his mind to think, hey, we can fight water with water.
Right, exactly. Mickey didn't know him really at this point, so Mickey was being nice, and he basically told him not to do that, like in a kind of tone, as if speaking to a child, because, which for all intents and purposes, Paniolo is basically mentally or emotionally a child. So that was funny to look at. The Jack Black lookalike, we learned his name later. He first thinks Paniolo did all the work saving Mickey because he just woke up, even though he was pretty much almost to drown because he was at like a complete fucking idiot. Then Mickey swoops in to stake his claim, like, hey, no, I helped, I kind of mainly did most of the work. So then Jack Black says that he will never forget them for saving his life, and then he goes back to sleep, and they roll him over on his side so he can live. And then so like there's like the big fanfare, like, oh, you saved the day, blah blah blah. And then this woman, which we don't see her anymore after this and one other scene, and she's done for the rest of the movie. This woman who's like interested in Mickey, she convinces him to get a coffee with her before he catches a plane for Boston, because there's like the subplot where Mickey works for his dad or something.
He's like an investment banker or something.
Well, we find that out later that he's an investment bank.
But his dad said that he has to get his windsurfing company off the ground by a certain amount of time, or he has to come back to Boston.
Which is weird because the guy looks like he's in his 30s. Like, can he make up his own mind and like decide what he wants?
No,
you know what I mean.
There's a law, like it only applies to people that try to start windsurfing companies. When you start one, you only get 3 months, and you have to go back to your daddy.
That's the other thing too. What business takes off within 3 months?
Exactly.
I mean, like, oh, you failed in 3 months, you gotta quit now. Like, what are you talking about? Most businesses don't even turn a profit for the first 2 years.
Sometimes 5.
At least.
Yeah, I mean, like. I'm sometimes more than that. I mean, like, Amazon didn't turn a profit until just like about 5 or 6 years ago. So it's like,
right. I mean, obviously Jeff Bezos was still rich and shit, but yeah, there's lots of stuff like, so I don't know. That was a weird subplot. Obviously she's got the hots for Mickey, but then we have, I always forget this. Is it called a cute meet or a meet cute? I always get them reversed.
Meet cute.
It's meet cute. Okay, sorry, meet cute. All right, so Mickey has a meet cute with Sharifa, who works as a waitress at the cafe. And then we get this weird scene where like they look into each other's eyes, and then there's like a fantasy scene where they're like running towards each other on the beach, and they end up like running into each other and falling down or something like that.
Yeah, because I mean the whole thing with Sharifa is that she's clumsy.
Yeah, that's like her main.
So even in her fantasies, she's clumsy. Yeah. So yeah.
Right. It kind of reminds me of like JD when he was like the sidekick, one of his own fantasies.
Yeah.
The Turk. where oh yeah, I was like, he's like, holy inferiority complex, Batman. How am I the sidekick in my own fantasy? And then Turk's like, it could be worse, Robin. You could be Alfred the butler. And then he turns into Alfred, and he's like, damn you, sir. Like, you have to call him sir.
Yeah.
I always loved that. And but obviously this was not as funny as that. The fantasy scene. So then throughout this whole scene, again with the overacting.
That's the other thing though too. There's only like a couple fantasy scenes. Like if you would have had more, it would have made more sense.
Yeah, there were like 2, and they were both like really fast. And they were just weird. Mm-hmm. Like there's another one later on, the interrogation scene, which is bizarre, but okay. And then with the whole Viking helmet or some shit like that, I was weird.
Yeah.
And, so Sharifa basically breaks all the dishes in the entire cafe as she's spying on this pseudo date between Mickey and this woman. I don't know her name. I'm not sure.
I don't either.
It's just someone
who
knows him on the island and has tried for a while to date him, I guess. I don't know. And then Sharifa's like really putting on real thick. I mean, she's like thrusting her chest and waist area towards him and like staring at him and stuff like that. She's serving him his coffee, stuff like that. But she gets fired basically because, she's breaking all these dishes, and she's like, oh no, I need this job, blah, 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 whatever. That typical story kind of thing in these movies.
I mean, the thing is if somebody was actually this clumsy at everything, there's no way she could even survive. She would have been killed a long time ago.
She would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you could have tripped over something or drowned. I mean, God forbid, or car accident.
And we know she's single, so I'm assuming she probably lives alone. So, she could just choke on something in the apartment and die.
I mean, so many things. And so we get that.
So basically what we got here is like after the meet cute here, and everything, because Mickey is supposed to fly home because of his business. We see this, we see this thing going on where there's this big guy, played Schultz, and his boss, or his other henchman guy, are basically trying to get this like drugs and stuff off of a helicopter into this like what do you want to call it, like a tube underwater, a pipe underwater. Yeah. That we're not sure where it goes yet. And when they're there, when they're in this like area out there, they, we find out that they've got like money and drugs and stuff in there. And so the cops try to arrest the helicopter pilot and search his helicopter. They don't find anything there because he had dropped the stuff off of the helicopter into the water to these guys. When interrogating the guy, the female police officer, Sergeant, what's her name?
Oh, Walensky.
She basically grabs the guy's genitals. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's police brutality. Just saying.
Also sexual assault as well.
Yeah. So, yeah.
He does that twice in the movie, in fact. 2 sexual assault cases. Yep.
All cops are bad. All cops are bad.
No.
I'm joking.
No. He is.
But
I know he is.
Yeah, but basically, so that scene, they don't find anything, so she's kind of, it's like, we didn't find anything, and then she's talking about his genitals and says, neither did I.
Yeah, you get it?
Because he doesn't have them. Yeah, he's got a small wiener.
You get it?
It's like 13-year-old humor.
They probably wrote this movie, in fact. Probably a bunch of like 7th grade boys wrote this movie.
Yeah.
After they like huffed gasoline or paint for the first time, and they got high off the fumes, and they're like, "Hey, bro, let's write a movie." They're like, he's like, "No, I want to watch the Titanic scene where they show her breast and pause, and then like have that part of the movie have like all the weird shit because that scene got played over and over again." And they're like, "No, man, let's write a movie called Gone to Maui. Wouldn't it? Oh yeah, it's good gasoline. Wouldn't it be awesome if we got like Mr. Miyagi to play in the movie? Wouldn't that be sweet?"
The guy's like, "Oh no!" The guy's like, "Oh no!" And it's like, "Oh, we got a perfect name for him. It's Mr. Ono."
Yeah, we call Mr. Ono. That and this boss guy was Schultz. I don't know if they ever say his name. He just called him boss. Does he even have a name in this movie?
He does. His character is it's Bernard.
Okay. Yeah, because Schultz only calls him boss. And by the way, this guy emotionally abuses Schultz multiple occasions throughout this film. Very mean.
Yeah.
Schultz has very, very little demands, very few demands. And, Bernard can't deal with it. Like, for example, Schultz asked him to help get his scuba suit off because he was having trouble getting the suit off once they got into this, abandoned building or whatever to drop off the drug money. And then the Bernard acted like it was the biggest deal in the world to have to like help him get his suit off. Like it was just like putting him out, and then he told Schultz to quote, get the bill of sale and to quote, twist his arm if necessary. We don't know who he's talking about or what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So what's he talking about?
Because this movie does not spell anything out at all.
No, it does not.
Sometimes movies will spell things out too much, but this one, it's like, it's like previous movies we've reviewed were too obvious about everything, but this is just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, am I lost? Yeah.
It's like you say, show, not tell. This does not show, neither does it tell.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, you are. You're just like with a blindfold on.
Yeah. It's like I gotta kind of just, spin a wheel with possible ideas here, and then maybe one of them will be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably how they wrote this.
It could be.
So, anyways, after the scene with McCroy, who's the helicopter pilot, getting sexually assaulted, we end up at the store owned by Pat Morita's character, Mr. Ono. And I guess he like is some kind of like witch doctor or something. He makes potions and stuff, and yeah, I'm not sure what you want to call him. And Mickey lives in a room like in the building there where the shop is, and Mickey had gotten his face scratched up or something when he saved the big Jack Black looking guy, and so Mr. Ono has this stuff that he decides to force him to put on it that smells like dead fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the cut on his face, that's supposed to help it, but we never see it really work because it's still there at the end of the movie.
Well, this movie takes place like within like a single day. So.
I know, but the way he's talking is like it'll heal it really fast. Like I was expecting it to be like some kind of miracle drug or something.
I mean, he presents it as some kind of all of his potions he thinks are quote medicine, which they're not.
I mean, we find out one of the things he did create was some kind of like I don't know, like an aphrodisiac or something that he had given Mickey, and that's basically why all the women were falling in love with him.
Well, that's what it is. It was the cut shit, but it was also the aphrodisiac at the same time.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think so. So I don't understand.
But my thing is I think he had to have. I don't know if it was the same thing though, because I think there were two different potions.
Okay.
Because I think he was already wearing it as like a cologne.
Oh, right. Okay.
Prior to that, because I think that's why all the women on the beach were falling in love with him and stuff.
Oh, right. Or I don't know, because actually when he asked them what that stuff was called, when he put the stuff on, he goes, magic, for men. So you're right. Okay, perfect example right there. That should have been two different potions right there.
Yeah.
Magic for Men should have been a cologne that smelled like regular cologne, like not some nasty fish smelly shit. And then the cut stuff was the potion to heal his cut. But they just moved it into one thing, and then
I'm trying to figure out like how, even if there's some kind of magic in a potion or something, that women would be attracted to a guy who smelled like fish.
well, that's the other thing too, because we find out other people are disgusted by the smell in an elevator scene.
Yeah,
And so
including women. That's why I thought it was two different potions.
exactly.
I think
No,
I don't know. It might be two different. I don't know.
no, it's not. It's not, because the thing is, you are more logical than what the writers of the movie did. So you're projecting what a normal person would do who writes a film, that gets paid money to write a film. Then they showed us film on like a TV station would do, but they're like, no, Magic for Men, fish, dead fish, eels cut, same thing. Move on to the next scene. Or we can, I don't know, maybe I'll look back. Who cares? Really?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the movie again to find out.
I'm not.
But...
No, it's not. I mean, like, so this guy, Mr. Ono, he also does this like weird, almost offensive Mr. Miyagi imitation to get him to sit down to allow him to apply this untested, non-FDA approved quote medicine on one of the most sensitive areas of his body. And it's just like, I felt offended watching this, almost like the scene of him debasing himself. Like, I don't know. It just, it bothered me. And then he calls Mickey a good boy on multiple occasions while he's doing this.
Yeah, he's treating him like he's a golden retriever or something.
It's just, I don't know, dude. It's just weird. And then he tells them the hospital called, and they want him to, okay, this is where the movie really starts.
They get called to the hospital. So they're in an elevator, like you were saying, and people were disgusted by how Mickey smells. He goes to the hospital. He's driving he's got a really cool car. I'll tell him.
Oh yeah, the yellow truck thing or whatever.
Yeah. It's called like a Volkswagen Thing. That's the actual like.
So it's called the
Thing. Yeah, the Thing or something like that.
Nice.
I've always liked those.
Yeah.
He goes there in Panoy. How do you say the dude's name? Like
it's Paniolo.
Paniolo. Yeah. So Paniolo's there too. They fight over a parking spot at first, sort of, and then they both are basically called to the hospital. So they go in there and they're trying to find Jack Black looking dude, and it turns out that Schultz had killed him because he wouldn't cooperate with things.
Yep.
So
he was the guy. Yeah. His arm for.
So Mickey and oh my god! Every time I try to say the name, Mickey and Pan.
He's called Pan or Pan.
Pan. Mickey and Pan. Check out. They're given a thing. They basically are given like a letter that basically says that they own this like barn, and they're checking it out. They go to check it out, and it's like this piece of shit rundown building. And while they're checking it out, Mickey's trying to say, yeah, we're gonna sell it, and Pan is like, yo, I gotta, we gotta get this, and he has like kind of a heartfelt scene because he, wants to say that I've never had a place of my own and all this other stuff, blah blah blah.
We have to introduce conflict in the most cringe way possible.
Yeah,
like, oh, this is where you have a conflict or a heartfelt scene. And enter here, type of thing.
So Mickey, and him get in a fight, and they he throws Ponyo onto the stage thing, which causes him to rip a hole in the floor that's never that disappears later. But
yeah, exactly. It's like, what? Okay,
and they find out that there's a cellar there.
Ooh, a cellar. What is that?
And they look into it, and down there, it ends up leading to that same place where our bad guys were storing their money and their drugs.
No, you don't say. What?
Yep. So now I actually understand how they're connected. Uh-oh.
Finally, finally we have synergy in this movie. There's something that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I do want to mention something really quick before you.
Sure. Go ahead.
So when Bernard finds out that Schultz had killed Henry is his name, he emotionally abuses him again. I've heard it many times in this movie. He humiliates him in front of McCroy by sticking an egg in his mouth, and then he berates him the entire time as Schultz is forced to just this egg in his mouth for like a full minute. I actually felt kind of bad for him, even though he's a bad guy, and then he ends up swallowing an egg, which causes one of many stomach aches throughout this film. This guy's got a stomach disease, but apparently no one cares. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that part.
Oh yeah, no, he needs to see a gastroenterologist or whatever. Yeah. So
yeah.
they they find out this stuff, and they investigate him. Well, Paniolo tries to lighten the mood. Mickey scoffs when asked if he was ever told that he doesn't have a sense ever told that he doesn't have a sense of humor. He said that his ex-wife told him that all the time just before she left him.
I get it. It's funny, right? Because was told that.
Yeah, that's the only mention that we have of him previously being married.
Yeah, we don't even know if he was joking or if he was even really married or not.
And so the police show up to investigate the bar, and Schultz arrived, and he tries to kill Mickey and Pan. At first he had been farting.
God damn it, the fart stuff.
In more 13-year-old humor, and basically it filled up his whole scuba suiter's diving suit, and his diving suit looked like a big balloon.
This happens twice, but even when he goes back up to Bernard, same shit happens.
Yeah,
it's just I hated it. I hate the fart stuff. So anyway,
I hate like potty humor.
I don't.
But Schultz ends up like shooting bullets through the cellar door because they had put a piano over the top of it to try to keep him down there after they realized he was there, and they were counting the money and everything, and but the police stop them. They walk into the bar. As they walk out of the bar with the money and the drugs, and they try to explain what's going on. But of course, because cops suck, cops are awesome. They're great for society. Because Bernard was in there too, and at one point, and he was outside, and he basically kept offering to try to buy the place before the cops got there. He ended up stealing the bill of sale to the deed to the land or whatever the fuck Jack Black wannabe gave them, So
yeah, that's the other thing too. He's sitting there in the car when they show, and he just goes off and drives off. They don't even try to chase him. Like
they're not curious why this guy with a car is there.
He's just sitting there in his car, like just waiting for whatever to get done is happening. Yeah. Anyway,
there's a misunderstanding at the hospital where basically they're now convinced that our two leads are the ones that killed the old fat guy. The
Jack Black.
Yeah. The Jack Black wannabe. Jack Black's dad.
No, current Jack Black wannabe.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, they end up arresting Pan and Mickey.
Ooh, I like that. Pan and Mickey. Yeah. That's a good. They should make a TV show based off them called Pan and Mickey. That would have been a cool, thing.
No, it wouldn't have
been. We should write one and try to see if they're still alive and ask them if they want to act in Mickey. It turns out Pan is the mayor of Maui now, and Mickey is like, a really successful businessman. I don't know. And then
and the theme song is Pan just singing, "Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you're so." I know. Anyway, so
no, you gotta give all the money then for the rights.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So what's going on next here?
So I'm trying to be comedic, I guess. I was kind of funny at first because, Pan, he leaves like the whole bag of cash, and then Mickey's holding this huge kilo of cocaine just as they're running outside. And then the cocaine bag opens up and it goes all over Mickey's head. So now they don't have any proof. That's the other thing too. They don't have any proof that there's drugs. I'm like, he's got cocaine dust all over his clothes and his body. What are you talking about? Like, that's not probable cause? Like, what? Like, anyway. I don't know.
Well, didn't you know, like, everybody has cocaine on them?
Yeah, I guess. And then so it happens later, though, because she was kind of pissed off about that. That's the other thing too. So the magic of, or the convenience magic of movie, not magic for men, like the potion that Mr. Maggie's making. Mr. Ono is making, is that conveniently there was a bunch of firecrackers standing on the bar when they just went in there, and like, oh, firecrackers, that's cool. And then so when Schultz was shooting at them and then trying to break, like, tip over the piano, they threw the firecrackers down to like distract them or whatever. It's like, yeah, just have firecrackers just sitting on a bar. That's normal. I don't know. And then so Schultz, he returns to Bernard full of chili farts again, and this time he's even more bloated than the last time, and he's treated with unmatched cruelty once again by Bernard, who just can't get enough of berating and humiliating his employee. I don't know who he is to him, if he's a stepfather figure, an uncle, and don't really know. Schultz definitely acts like a his child.
They're lovers.
Huh?
They're lovers.
But he's the abusive partner in the relationship.
Yeah.
And then
just joking.
and then yeah, I know. And then so there, he berates Schultz again for having a stomach disease that he can't control. And Sharifa applies for another waitressing job. But this time she's rejected before she can even say a word. The guy's like, nope, job's filled. Sorry, go home. And then McCroy is sitting there at the bar just the whole time, and he's got it out for Sharifa because he was staring at these women really creepily. And then he ends up seeing Sharifa, and he's like, oh, she's really hot. And so he was like, I guess, waiting for her or whatever. So McCroy was acting pretty McCreepy and offers to buy her a drink while he pulls a Joe Biden and sniffs her hair as well. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
He likes sniffing hair. I don't know. And so he sniffs her hair as her back is turned against him while she's getting the drinks. And then she spills the coffees or whatever they were, shakes, I don't know, onto their shirts. And he's like, oh, it's okay. Strawberry's my favorite flavor anyway. What, you're going to drink the stuff off your shirt? What's the point of the flavor you like being on your shirt?
Every shirt in Maui either has cocaine or strawberry on it. It's this little known thing. Yeah.
Strawberry cocaine, that's a good, good thing. And so this is like one of the scenes where things escalate way, way too fast. So she's like, oh, don't worry, I'll wash it off for you. And he's like, oh, are we going to the little boys or the little girls' room? And she's like, not really sure. And he's like, hey, I got, a bathroom in my room. We should go there. And she's like, yeah, right. And then he pulls out a gun. He's like, yes, we are. It's like, whoa, okay. And like he pulls a gun in public, right in front of everyone.
Nobody notices.
No, apparently no one notices. And they're like, oh, shit. Oh, I guess I'm going with McCreepy McCroy here. And then to go wash off our strawberry drink. I don't know, whatever. It's always so stupid, dude. And then so Sergeant Walensky, then she goes to Mr. Ono's. This is where it gets really weird.
There's one scene, I don't know when it is, but talking about the dynamic between Bernard and Schultz. At one point he says, call McCroy. If you can't find him, kill him.
Yes.
There's no logic in that.
No, there's not.
How can you kill somebody if you can't find them?
Kill him. You're like, huh? Yeah, I see this in your notes right now. And then, there's so many weird. I like the observations you made because mine were more like what was going on, like the plot of the movie. But you had some observations about like the subtle things that are going on in the film. I didn't really notice very much. So so Sergeant Walensky goes to Mr. Ono's shop to talk about Mickey. And so part of this movie was that they were also trying to go for like a raunchy sex comedy thing, but it just didn't really, because for one thing it was on for TV, so they couldn't like go hardcore.
It's like, I don't know if this was cable TV or if this was if this aired on like CBS or something. I don't know what the hell,
I'd like to know when, I really would like to know when, because we have no information about this movie at all. No one's written anything about it. I got lucky because I found this on a YouTube channel that has 56,000 views. So maybe more people have information about oh yeah, I watched this when it came on. I was living in Hawaii at the time, or I don't know, or something like that. And then, obviously because the movie takes place in Hawaii, that's where they showed it. Obviously,
maybe. And then, if anybody listening knows anything more about this movie, let us know.
Please, because I really want to start emailing or try to contact some of these people and ask them about, how this film was made and kind of dig in deep, because this movie fascinates me in so many ways. So Sergeant Walensky, she goes to Mr. Ono, talk about Mickey, and she is like got really attracted to Mickey because of the Magic for Men cologne he was wearing. And so she's like now has it out for Mickey because of that. So she, is asking, Mr. Ono about him. Mr. Ono can kind of tell that, she likes him, but she's like saying she does playing it off or whatever. But Mr. Ono knows because he knows these things, And so she's like, if I find him, I'm going to put him in the electric chair. And Mr. Ono's like, electric chair. And she's like, what? He's like, oh, nothing. That just gave me an idea to make a more potent version of Magic for Men. And she's like, more potent? He's like, much more potent. And she's like rubbing her chest region, like with like barely restrained lust as he's saying this. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, like, yeah, what's going on here, lady? Like, hey, you're on the job right now. Like, you can take care of yourself later, and then, so like you mentioned, the male cop, which is like her deputy or student or whatever, is an idiot. And you want to talk about him and his escapades here?
So he's driving the two dudes in the car, and he takes a liking to Paniolo. And
I call him
Paniolo, Mr. P, and Mr. P. Takes a liking to good old Mr. P, and so he gets into like an accident where he crashes into this big I don't know, like farm machine or something, and I think it was some kind of like I don't know, like some kind of farm instrument of some sort, like a big yeah, I don't know much about farming.
Well, Mr. P, the reason why he took a liking to Mr. P is because he said that the mayor was his cousin.
Yeah.
And so he let him sit up front, which I'm sure any cop allows a prisoner or arrestee to do, right? Okay, yeah, sit in the front,
And another thing I observed earlier, too, is almost all cop cars have a divider between the back and the front seat.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, since this has been since like the 60s or so, I think that they've had those. Why doesn't this car have that? My only guess is that it's not a real cop car, or they didn't make it look, they just painted a regular car to make it look like a cop car, which, is what you do for a movie. But also when you're doing the prop, you actually maybe make it look realistic.
Hey man, 90s, it's island police. They go by different rules in the 90s.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there could be like police departments or sheriff departments or something somewhere that don't have a divider between those, but usually you have some kind of like cage in between the two to, because when you never know who you're going to pick up. If you're picking up some, wild killer that you're a contortionist or somebody that can get out of the handcuffs and then strangle you to death, it might happen. But yeah, this guy's such an idiot though too. He invites Mr. P up to the front seat.
Yeah.
And so he's riding shotgun. Literally, there's a shotgun right in between them.
Yes, there is literally a shotgun. Mm-hmm. You're just sitting there in the middle, yeah.
And so they get into the accident, and Paniolo decides to take the car then while the cop's talking to somebody. It's like, and so now they've stolen a car and actually committed a crime as opposed to what's happened before where they haven't yet.
Yep. So now how are you gonna clear your name when you actually committed a crime here? I like, by the way, I'm just reading through your notes. And I like this one right here. It says, Mickey says every line like he's having an anxiety attack.
He does. Every single thing he says sounds like, oh my gosh, I'm...
and then like, so yeah, but before he steals the car, the Paniolo, the guy is, when the cop is talking to the farmer guy, and he's like, I'll be right back. And then Ben Stiller, looking like Mr. P, tries to channel his inner Jim Carrey, and he's like, take your time, we're not going anywhere, like trying to be funny, like, ugh, it's wanted to punch him in the face when he said that, like just the way he looks, like his facial expression was just like, I wanted to like just twist his neck. Anyway, yeah, so but you're right, yeah, so he steals the car and they drive off, yeah.
Yeah, and so Mickey makes Mr. P drop him off on a dirt road in the middle of a field, and they have a big fight. We were never partners, we were never friends, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
fight, and Paniolo then uses his feet to fire the shotgun, and it's fired through the roof, and there is a hole in the roof then that is the most Looney Tunes looking thing I've ever seen in my whole fucking life in a movie. Even in a Looney Tunes movie, it doesn't look this cartoonish. It's like somebody put a Burger King crown on top of the car and painted it white, and that's the hole that it blew in the roof.
And Mickey thinks he committed suicide because it kind of looked like that he kind of felt bad
at first.
That would have this movie would have taken a real dark turn if like all of a sudden he just kills himself because Mickey leaves him.
I was like, now Mickey has a reason to act like he's having an anxiety attack every Sunday.
Exactly. Because he made his friend kill himself because he wouldn't. Oh my God.
Do you have dreams that you want to achieve but are scared to do so due to self-doubt, fear, and other people's criticism? I have just what you need. You need a dose of the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, where I interview guests that will motivate and inspire you to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. And always remember, if you believe, you can achieve.
The Living the Dream with Curveball podcast is available on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, everybody. Why don't you give the old Black Lincoln Collective podcast a listen? We're funny, we're fat, and we're here 24/7 at blcpodcast.com. Anytime you want to listen, anywhere, all your favorite podcast apps. Of course, we have a YouTube channel where you can stream live with the show. Check out our shorts. We're funnier the less you hear of us. That's been a Black Lincoln Collective podcast at blcpodcast.com.
And this is one of the scenes that go on. Dude, the scene goes on for like way too long where he's like, okay, I'm going now. He's like, yeah, I kind of wish you were my partner. I think you would have been a good partner. And the guy's like, yeah, sorry. He's like, all right, take care. And then he's like, hey, wait a minute. This goes on for like 5 minutes.
And I think they wanted it to be funny, but it wasn't even funny.
No, it wasn't. He's like,
I don't know if they were going for funny or emotional. It was just neither, though.
It wasn't like it was just like, oh, hey, wait. Like it was almost like you're like someone was going to the store, and then you're like, oh, hey, can you buy some frozen pizzas? And he's like, okay, sure. And he walks away a little bit. And it's like, oh, hey, hold up. And he's like, what? Don't forget Listerine. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, all right, take care, and like he goes, Mickey says, they got into trouble. And then Mr. P does his Jim Carrey thing again. He's like, you know me. And like, no, Pon, he doesn't know you. You've known each other for less than 24 fucking hours. Like
you met each other like maybe 2 hours ago.
Yeah, like exactly. Cause technically it's been 24 hours since they saved.
Okay. You've only known each other like a day and a half at the most. Yeah, it's like
maybe Mr. P is one of those people who gets attached to people way too quickly, though, and so like immediately the person becomes their best friend because they don't really have anyone in their life. So maybe that's what's.
Well, he's never had anything to call his own.
It's true. He said that back in the bar when they had the heartfelt moment. Yeah.
So Bernard and Schultz go to visit Mr. Ono's shop, and he beats them up with his mop accidentally. And Schultz is like farting the whole time.
Yep.
And so they leave, and then Pan drops off the money and drugs at Mickey's room.
Yep.
Like, okay, how did Mr. Ono know that this Pan guy had anything to do with Mickey? Because he's just like, I'm his partner, and just lets him into his apartment.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. How does Mr. P know? How does any of them know where Mickey lives? Like you wrote that down too. How do the bad guys know where Mickey lives? How does Pon know?
My thing is, it's probably they found out. I mean, I thought about it, and I was like, probably because they knew his last name and were able to find it. That's my only guess.
Okay, all right.
So because they saw that letter from the Jack Black guy with the bill of sale or whatever on it. So
right,
yeah. Anyways, so they Schultz and Bernard return, and they tie up or duct tape up Mr. Ono and Pan and hold them hostage. Sergeant Walensky, she picks up a wandering Mickey on the side of the road, and she takes him to the police station and puts him into an interrogation room, and she sexually harasses him again. Not him, but sexually harassment again. And she's like tickling him and all this other stuff. And then we have the one other scene of a little fantasy thing where he's picturing her with a Viking helmet on for some reason.
Yeah, it goes on for like 2 seconds. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
that was about. But
Yeah, but then she's forced to let him go by her boss because they don't have anything to hold him on because they don't have any evidence.
right, but who witnesses her sexually humiliating her and doesn't do anything about it?
Mm-hmm.
So he's also witness to police brutality, and he looks the other way, which is a common thing. So I guess that kind of tracks.
Mm-hmm. This was before the Me Too movement. Oh,
true. Also, Me Too and the Black Lives Matter. Well, he's not black, but
no.
But the citizen lives matter.
Yeah.
And then we find out here that he was actually an international banker who was just like pretending to be like a beach bum, I guess, or wanting to start a new life in Hawaii. So he actually already is rich, which doesn't make any sense to me. So if he's already rich and his windsurfing business is not taking off, why does it matter? He's already rich. So why does he even need to go back to work if he's already?
And why is his dad making him? I don't know. It's
like
if you're already independently wealthy, like why would you need to do anything? And also if he's rich, why is he living in the back of like a convenience store?
So my only thing was that maybe he just wanted to live not being rich, I guess, until he just. Or
maybe he was cut off from money from his dad or something, or who knows? I don't know.
But if he's an international investor,
unless he was working for his dad's investment company, dad controlled his money or something. But these are things you flesh out in a screenplay.
Exactly. You still get paid, and if he saved his money, he seems like he knows a lot about business.
Or you know what else you could have done?
What's that?
Just not put this in the screenplay at all because it doesn't matter.
That would be. Actually, yes, this kind of ruins the whole story of Mickey right here in just one scene. Why do we need this? There's no need.
It could have just been like, maybe his dad lent him some money to start a company, and he failed at it, so his dad wants him to come back home.
Yeah. I mean,
that would have made more sense.
Yeah. There's no need to introduce some mysterious, plot point that just came and went like one of Schultz's farts, like. Mm-hmm. Just I don't know, whatever. And so her boss witnesses.
So it's all just blowing in the wind, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. And then So what happens after that? After she humiliates him and gets in trouble? Well, not really in trouble, but tells her that she can't do anything to him because there's no evidence or whatever.
Well, the deputy drops off Mickey, and then Mickey sees Mr. Ono and Han tied up, and he sets them free, and then they steal the deputy's second car.
Mr. Ono kind of helped with the distraction there.
Yeah. Then we cut to McCroy and Sharifa in the most pointless side plot in the movie.
This was so stupid.
I mean, I know that they wanted Sharifa and Mickey to end up together in this movie, so you had to find a way to get them together. Mm-hmm. But this whole creepy subplot with McCreepy is it makes no sense. Like it's just, I don't know. It's like we already know he's a bad guy. We don't have to make him like wanting to rape a girl on top of it. It's just like what the.
Yeah, it was just so stupid.
He basically is demanding that she take a shower, and she somehow convinces him to go off and buy baby oil, which is her attempt to escape. But he locks her in the bathroom with this chair that would not have held the door shut.
No, it would not.
There is no way that would have worked. Anyway, so
not a chance.
Yeah. Schultz, you've got written here on your notes that Schultz clearly has some type of stomach disease, which causes excruciating pain. And all his boss does is berate him for being a wussy.
Yeah, that was another thing too. Bothered me. He kept saying wussy.
Yeah.
It's like, are we in the 1980s? Like this movie came out in 1999. Probably they couldn't say pussy because it was for TV. But
or something.
But that bothered me so much when he kept, because like the other thing too, Bernard looks like he's in like maybe his 60s or 70s. But watching like an old guy say wussy just felt weird. Like that's a lingo for like people who are like 30 years younger, at least 30 years younger than you. So it just, I don't know. It felt weird.
Well, it's lingo for whoever wrote the screenplay. So
that's true. I wrote that because he's still complaining about his stomach, and then like Bernard won't even let him take a break to like just buy some antacids. Like how long would it take to stop by a store and buy like 5 minutes at most? I mean, but
There's this little known thing that in Maui, it takes 5.5 hours to get an acid.
Oh,
I'm joking.
that's the other thing too. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing too. And he even asked Mr. Ono if he had anything for gas the first time they came to his store.
Yeah.
And then, like, come on, Schultz. I'm like, dude, like, what is the matter with you? Your employee, has a severe problem here. That's the other thing too. Don't you think he'd work better if he was feeling better? So even if you don't care about him, which that's obviously you don't, you at least care about your business succeeding. So wouldn't your employee feeling healthy make him do the work better, which would actually make your business succeed? Or do you just hate Schultz that much?
Well, if we've learned anything from corporate America, you don't treat your employees well.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Schultz here is a metaphor because he's really big and strong. And so Schultz is a metaphor for the working class here,
yes,
who has, despite his muscular surface, has a soft spot inside, meaning his stomach. And the stomach represents the health of the nation, when it comes to food and digestion. And then the corporate bosses don't care about the health of the workers that they can't see. They can only see the surface, the muscular body, the person that spins the wheels, puts their shoulder to the wheelstone, who works in the factories, but they don't really care, if they have inner problems like mental health issues or internal problems like with their organs or stomach or whatever.
And that's why,
just like, get back to work, keep working, Schultz.
And that's why capitalism is evil.
It is. Actually, can you look up the meaning of Schultz real? I want to know what the meaning of the word Schultz is. If we can do that really. All right.
Yeah.
Now,
and his is spelled it's SHULZ.
Okay. And then type in meaning afterwards.
Yeah. A village headman.
So what does that mean? Like head of a village?
Yeah, like a constable or a sheriff.
Okay. That's perfect. So the working class, if they actually own and control the means of production, they essentially would be, quote, head of the village. But since the corporate bosses squeeze all the money that the workers actually produce, and they're no longer the head of the village, they're, I should say, the stomach of the village. But since they're unhealthy, the stomach has problems. Therefore, the working class has problems. This movie actually is a metaphor for the capitalist overlords versus the working class.
So I think they named these two wrong because the name Bernard means strong, brave bear.
Yeah, wait a minute. So that's okay. You know what? They probably didn't even know.
I know. It's just like funny that happens to be what those names mean.
The reason why, though, is probably because Schultz is obviously German.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to come up with a German name, not Bernard. They want to do something.
Bernard is a German name too.
Oh, well, okay. Well, they fuck it. I don't know. Yeah.
But not a more obvious German name like Schultz. They
fucked up. It's fine. We've established that they fucked up. So
I think we're thinking more into this than they did.
We're trying to give life to a dead film, basically. Yeah, is what we're doing.
And McCroy is like an Irish name, so that means that it's like I don't know. And it was so.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy.
So at this point, Mickey and Pan disguise themselves as room service attendants or whatever to break into McCroy's suite or whatever it is. And so Bernard and Schultz find McCroy in the lobby with his baby oil. And he said that he had to buy some medicine, which made Schultz say that he needs some medicine too. Of course he does, because he's been saying it the whole fucking movie. Bernard, says later. But Schultz, basically finally stands up for himself. And why didn't he realize, at one point in this movie that he could just kill Bernard? Anyway, so
well, it's the thing where I'm my headcanon here, if you will, because his name means head of the village, is that Schultz was maybe adopted by Bernard when he was a child, and so or maybe he looked after him. So even though he's bigger to him physically, he still feels like he's that small kid with the towering Bernard who's always berating him. So he doesn't even really think that he can just snap his neck, So.
That or they're in a dysfunctional romantic relationship.
And that Schultz obviously has, self-esteem, self-worth issues that he allows Bernard to, humiliate and berate him and make him feel 2 inches tall. He won't even allow him to take medicine to, help aid with his disease that he has.
So, but he finally lets him go buy some medicine. And
wow, what a saint.
I know.
Saint Bernard, right?
Well, you know what that is. It's just like, when a company makes billions of dollars and then has a celebration for the fact that they made billions of dollars by giving their employees a pizza party. Anyway, so
a pizza party that Schultz probably won't be able to indulge in. You have to eat something healthier, with the grease and whatnot. But yeah, a salad party maybe for Schultz, unfortunately. But
so Mick and Pan break into McCroy's room and hear Sharifa crying for help in the bathroom, and McCroy comes back, and they're all and so they're hiding in the shower, Mickey and Pan, and so McCroy makes her strip as they are in there, and basically he wants to, and basically the two of them are there, and they watch her, like, as you have in your notes, uncivilized perverts. And I
mean, come on, let's be gentlemen here, like,
cover your eyes, dudes. But anyways, they beat him up and escape, and then they take the shuttle bus and basically hijack it and drop off all of these like Asian tourists in the middle of nowhere on the side of like a dirt road. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're foreigners. They don't know anything about the land, and they're like, "Ha, fuck you. Here's the sugarcane field road. Good luck."
Yeah. I hope they went back for them. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
So they drive their shuttle to the bar that they inherited, and they're followed by the Unholy Three. The whole town is there somehow to ambush before that though, on the shuttle bus there was this really weird random kissing scene between Sharifa and Mickey. It made me like want to throw up. It was so
stupid.
It was
so
just cringy.
Bad.
Yeah.
And the reason why the town was there is because Mickey called Mr. Ono and says he needs help. And apparently Mr. Ono
because when he was kissing her, he like went down to like kiss her leg or something, and he saw a radio so he could contact Mr. Ono. Yeah. And
Mr. Ono apparently knows the entire town. Maybe he is like a witch doctor. Maybe he's like the shaman of the whole town, and like everyone respects him. And so if he calls in a favor, they just jump too,
Yes. And so then there's this big fight scene in there, which is really horribly cartoony.
Yeah.
Badly choreographed. There's like this one shot where I think it's Schultz like goes to punch somebody, and it's on screen, and he doesn't even it's actually like he's hitting this. Oh no, it's Mickey hitting this bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it's the big guy. It's Schultz. He's hitting this guy in a fight scene, but he's totally missing him like by a mile, and the guy's reacting to it. It's something that you could have fixed easily with camera angles, because that's how you actually shoot those, because you got to change the focal length and everything to make it look like you're actually hitting the guy when you're not.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to do.
Nope.
This movie gave me a headache. So it's like really cartoony. And the whole town is there. They ambush him, and the dumbest fight scene in history ensues. Drug powder is strewn all over the floor. So,
like multiple kilos of cocaine.
Yeah, all over. I think the people would have got high from it,
Totally.
Sharifa shoves firecracks down McCroy's pants, basically like probably, blowing up his penis. And
well, apparently he doesn't have one, according to the sexually assaulting cop.
Oh yeah. Blowing up where his penis should have been. And and so then we've got this big so McCroy's back at the place, but Bernard and Schultz take Sharifa hostage.
Why?
Yeah, there was no reason for them. They didn't need a hostage.
No.
They could have just got away.
Yep.
And because the only reason you need a hostage is if you have some reason to negotiate. There was nothing that they needed to
What is there to negotiate? Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They could have just got away. And it doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's just like, I saw that somebody took a hostage in a movie once, so I gotta have somebody take a hostage.
Yeah,
in my
that's
movie.
what it was. They thought it was cool. And whatever.
Yeah, and so then there's like the world's like slowest boat chase scene. It's like the worst boat chase scene since Speed 2, which probably came out after this. But
yeah, I think it did.
but I mean, it's the worst one I've seen since Speed 2. And it's just like they're all in like these big boats chasing down, and then they end up saving Sharifa, and I don't know. It was just so fucking stupid. And then what happens here at the end?
So and the reason why they're in the rowboats is that there has happened to be a rowboat team or people just doing rowboating. So they all got into the rowboats, and then they end up surrounding Bernard in his whatever dinghy, whatever you call it, and they start doing this chanting thing. And I guess the whole point is to distract Bernard so that Mickey can do like that's the other thing too. Before that, he's like, "Come on, we got to get my girl. Okay, so both of you have weird attachment issues. Paniolo thinks that he found a new best friend because he's known for 3 hours. You think you've got the love of your life that you've known for 3 hours that you're willing to risk your life over. What's going on like with these people? Anyway, so Mickey does a sneak attack. He punches them, steals his gun, whatever, knocks him into the water. And then, well, not then. So we do have a resolution. Mickey shows up to the bar. Pon's already put a sign up, even though the bar's really not meant for anything yet. And then Mickey's like, "Hey, okay, I'm going back to Boston now. Nice knowing you guys," which is weird because if Sharifa is, quote, his girl, why is he then suddenly leaving her?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I can understand leaving Pon because apparently you don't think he's your friend, whatever.
If they would have explained more why he had to leave the fucking island if his windsurfing thing didn't take off, I don't get it. It's like, I don't know.
Especially since he's an international investor who probably has millions of dollars at his disposal. Whatever.
At the same time, they overwrote and underwrote this movie. It's like...
Exactly. Because why does he need the money to sell the business? Because he's like, oh man, this is $50,000. $50,000 for an international investor is nothing. That's nothing. Like, whatever. And then, so then, he decides he rips off his plane ticket. He comes back in the bar. He's like, oh, he's going to stay. Awesome. Let's have a party. And he's like, hey, because Paniolo's an idiot. And he's like, hey man, here's the money to pay for property taxes. And he's like, property taxes. It's like, you fucking idiots. Like, you know nothing about having a business. Like, and then so then we get this my guess is this might have been shot for a completely different movie, and then they just put it in here. And there's a completely random traditional Hawaiian dance and like drum song is performed at night, it seems like. And then this goes on for like a good 2 minutes, and then it freeze frames on a random dude who's playing the drums, and he's the last person you see in the entire movie.
Yep.
No, someone who's not been in this movie until that very shot. And that's how you're going to end the movie, is just some, like, let's not do a freeze frame on one of the characters, like one of the main leads. Not even like a bit character, like, the guy from the beginning, the drug lord. No, just random drummer dude. And then that's it. And then they go into some shitty R&B. Well, I shouldn't say shitty.
See, my theory is that guy that they did the freeze frame on, this whole movie was just inside of his head. And,
okay, that's a good one.
And right before this, he was hit on the head with like some kind of drum or something, and so that's why the movie sucks so bad.
It could be, or maybe an oar from the bow. Maybe that's
it. Yeah,
it was oar from the bow, and then that's why he was hallucinating about the
plot,
the robot.
Oh, and another stray observation from earlier too that I totally forgot way earlier in the movie. Mickey's license plate, it's a vanity plate that just says Maui. I don't think they'd allow you to get that in the city of Maui, just the plate that says Maui.
Yeah, and so the movie ends with this shitty R&B song. The credits go by real fast, and then that's the end of the movie. So the end. Thank fucking God. Can I read some of your? Just go some of your notes. Just read them. Just to read
Go
them.
ahead.
All right. I'll read like half, and you can read like the other half. All right. So, first one is, who the hell are the people at the beginning of the film? Good observation. Theme song towards the beginning wants to be a Bob Marley song so bad. Yeah, we mentioned that. The acting is horrible. True. It tries too hard to be funny. True. The quote, hot guy Mickey seems to make all of the women stupid. He isn't even that hot. That's true. The whole he is gay thing is weird. Yeah. Pretty sure grabbing the guy by his genitals is police brutality. It is. I like Mickey's car. Me too. In the hospital, they are standing right next to the elevator and Mickey acts surprised to see it. Yes. That's, okay. You smell like dead fish, bro. Very funny. Mickey was able to get the vanity plate. Yeah, he said that. It said Maui. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of the audio was redubbed. That's the other. Yeah, okay. That's a good. Yeah, good observation. I felt something was off. I couldn't really figure out what it was. Yeah. Two main guys are acting like they're in two different movies. Yeah. Literal fart humor. Oh my god. The guy cop is an idiot. Paul McCroy. If you can't find him, kill him. Yeah. All right, then you can read here if you want to read the rest.
I'll read some of the. Okay. Some of the stuff I already talked about. We said earlier that Mickey says every line like he's having an anxiety attack. Pretty sure tickling and trying to seduce Mickey isn't a proper interrogation method. The trying to see if there's anything else I missed here.
I think we said most of them.
I think I got most of them except for one thing I said. The film overall is like someone put a bad Looney Tunes cartoon and rejects from a Magnum PI episode into a blender with cocaine, and then this came out.
Yeah, that is a good analogy. Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So thank fucking God. We did it. It's over.
Yes.
So what's funny is that I wrote these notes in chronological order for the express purpose that our podcast wouldn't be as long. And I think it's as long or longer, but at least they're in chronology. At least we're not jumping around from.
Yeah, we're good. We'll be good. Anyway, so any final thoughts here on this masterpiece?
I would say watch it late at night. Maybe if you've had a few drinks on like a Friday night and you came home, you got yourself some Taco Bell and you're munching on your Taco Bell and you want to put something on that's just really stupid. So you can make fun of it. Or feel like just laugh at it because it's stupid. I would recommend doing that.
I say watch it and write a thesis paper on it. And
I plan on. I want to learn more about this movie. I think I'm gonna I think that's gonna be one of my next projects. Is actually do a deep dive. Try to contact people who are involved in this and get as much information as possible about how this movie was made. And then maybe we could do a podcast talking about the creation of this movie.
And if anybody that was involved in the making of this movie happens to be listening, no offense to any of you, but I'm sure you know how bad the movie was. And if you would like to defend yourself or just talk about the movie and come on our podcast, I'd be more than happy to interview you. Be sure, folks, if you're still with us, to listen to listen to all of our previous episodes. Go to alltooreal2.com to find links to it. You can find us anywhere that you find podcasts. We've got a Patreon. We've got a TeePublic. Those are good ways to support us. Also, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you can review a podcast. Share our show on social media. Check out our social media. And just remember one thing, that Mr. P loves you. Schultz farts a lot. I love you. And Sesame loves you.
Yep.
And until next time, aloha.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.